this.
Well, just days after new mask guidance within schools in Kalamazoo County, some parents say the protections don't extend far enough.
Portage parents finally got the chance to speak with Portage Public Schools administration about their optional mask policy after their meeting was postponed last Friday. News Channel 3's Jay Shatara has continuing coverage of this story that we've been reporting for weeks. And Jay, these parents tell you they think it's time for Portage Public Schools to mask all grades in the schools.
Yeah, Laura, that's absolutely right. Dan Newman's son is in 6th grade, which means he will be required to wear a mask under the county's health department's new requirements. Newman's concern is that he will be in a building with 7th and 8th graders who are not required to mask up. He says he doesn't want his son learning virtually either because he doesn't learn best that way. Newman, along with parent Keith Brown, met with Assistant Superintendent Michael Pasco to tell him why they are concerned about Portage's plans moving forward. They say their worry is for students who aren't eligible to get vaccinated. The fathers included a statement from their doctor suggesting everyone in buildings be masked up regardless of age. And earlier this week, Dr. Jonay Caldoun recommended that if a mask mandate were in place and followed, it would likely decrease the spread of COVID-19. Newman says he is now asking Portage Public Schools to be a leader in West Michigan when it comes to mask guidance.
Portage asks of their students, do much more than the minimum. Be a leader, not a follower. Then you have the administration saying, well, we're looking to see what other school systems are doing. We're looking to see what other counties are doing. It's time for Portage to say we're going to do more than the minimum.
Now, Superintendent Mark Beeling did send out a letter to parents this week saying he plans to finalize mask guidance revisions today to reflect the new countywide mask mandates for K-6 students.
Some parents in Southwest Michigan voiced their frustrations today after 2 counties in our region implemented mask mandates for schools. Allegan and Kalamazoo counties both issued the mandates covering children in kindergarten through 6th grade. News Channel 3's Andrew Feather joins us live in Allegan County to tell us about those parents' frustrations and show us what experts say about masks in schools. Andrew.
Erica, under state law, health departments can make local orders to address a public health concern. Now, anyone in violation of public health orders can be charged with a misdemeanor. Dozens of parents and students lining up outside of the Allegan County Health Department today, protesting Allegan County's mask mandate in schools, calling the requirement government overreach.
Many of these schools are just putting these masks on these kids, putting them out on the fields, and it is just completely tyrannical.
Allegan and Kalamazoo counties put in place mask requirements for kids in schools kindergarten through 6th grade. Local health officials say the grade choice is based on COVID-19 vaccine eligibility. No one younger than 12 can get the shot right now. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends universal masking in schools.
Mask usage in schools is what we need to do. It's a good idea. It's safe. And we have every reason to expect that they will help curb the spread of COVID-19.
This graphic from Michigan Public Health shows that with universal masking in schools, the spread of COVID-19 is about 40 times slower compared to no masking. Even with just partial masking, the spread of the virus is about 8 to 9 times slower.
My question to these, mandate makers, order makers at the health department and above is, where does it stop? Where do our rights begin?
Allegan and Kalamazoo are among just 3 of Michigan's 83 counties to have implemented any sort of mask mandate amid rising COVID-19 rates. State health officials have so far recommended but not required masks in schools. Now, so far, Governor Whitmer and the director of the state health department have yet to give a clear answer about why there is no mask mandate, despite recommendations from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, as well as Michigan's chief medical executive.
Also in Lansing, lawmakers discuss a new bill that would prevent businesses from requiring vaccinations for employees in Michigan, and not just for COVID-19. Our political reporter Rachel Louise Just takes us inside a contentious hearing on the legislation.
A GOP-led House panel today holding a hearing on a new bill that would ban employers from being able to require vaccinations from their employees. Those vaccinations: flu, Tdap, and COVID-19. The bill would also ban any employers, including hospitals, from requiring that those unvaccinated employees be masked. The intricacies of the legislation were hardly the focus during the committee hearing, as testimony zeroed in on the debate around vaccine efficacy.
I think today was extremely informative and educational, and it's something that businesses should pay attention to.
More time was spent in the 2.5-hour meeting reading off lists of bill supporters without any known credentials.
Lauren Pendergraft supports the bill.
Then hearing from the countless licensed medical professionals in support of vaccinations.
Well, what disappointed me was that they only allowed for junk science to come up and they didn't allow actual public health experts to offer testimony.
Brad Williams was the only opponent testifying today.
Let me reiterate. We're not arguing for a vaccine mandate. We're not arguing against a vaccine mandate. But we are arguing for vaccines because it's the only way out of the pandemic and the endless battles against variants.
Williams works for the Detroit Chamber, one of a handful of state and national associations critical of the bill. Public opponents include health groups like the American Academy of Pediatrics and business groups like the Michigan Chamber of Commerce. The legislation is supported by Republican lawmakers who are normally vocal advocates for smaller government.
You've been a proponent of small government. Does this not feel like government overreach to you when you're messing with these small businesses?
The government is always trying to insert itself and get more and more money from businesses. All we're saying with this is let the legislature tell business you can't mandate that an individual is having a chemical injected into their body.
The legislation today drawing a crowd of supporters, few were masked. The committee taking no votes and kicking the decision on this bill down the road.